podcasting batching day. And today we are chatting with an amazing, well, I have to say, I absolutely love this lady's name. It is the coolest name. If I had thought of it, I probably would have named my daughter the name. So anyway, we're going to be chatting with today's guest, who is a digital marketing and consultant and a business growth strategist. Now, she's been coaching people about around e-commerce brands and scaling them profitably through omni-channel digital marketing. And her approach includes organic social, pay-per-click, SEO, website development, content marketing, email marketing, and so much more. I discovered her through a Facebook ad. I saw some of her ads running and started stalking her Facebook page, and then her name is just awesome. But her social savvy, she's totally socially savvy. She has her own course dedicated to accelerating the learning curve into profitable Facebook ads, and especially with everything that's recently changed when it comes to ads, I know I just was banging my head against the wall. So when she brought up this topic that we're going to talk about today, which is about surviving iOS, I was like, yes, I selfishly, I'm like, yes, let's do this so I can learn more. So I have my student hat on. Now, Toccara Karizma is, and she has really a great out-of-the-box approach to digital marketing and her expertise in the online business growth space. So we've asked her to join us today. So please, everybody, help me in welcoming our beautiful guest to the stage, Toccara. Hey, Toccara, how are you today?
I'm so good. Thank you. That was a very sweet introduction. Thank you very much.
It's so lovely to have you here, and I'm so excited that you chose to join us. Now, Toccara, tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you into the whole Facebook ad space to begin with?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I have a business economics background from college. I went to 7 different colleges in 3.5 years. I graduated early with a business economics degree. And then I started an e-commerce business back in 2007. Before Facebook had 3 billion users, right? There was only 20 million at that time. Shopify didn't exist. The drop shipping term didn't even come around until about 2010. So I learned what it took to grow a business. And I grew that, pretty successfully to 6 figures plus every year. And from there, I transitioned. I decided, I don't like so much filling orders, inventory, like all these other things, but I know how to build a brand. I love e-commerce. And so that was the start of the transition into the digital marketing agency, where we provide really full service digital marketing services like Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, and so much more. But my bread and butter where I started was Facebook and Instagram, and we've slowly built out. And now I'm so blessed to say, yes, we have a 7-figure ad agency. We represent elite e-commerce clients and help them scale like beyond their wildest dreams. And I love what I do every single day. I am so blessed to do it.
I dabbled in drop shipping myself when we first started way back in the day. And it was horrible. It was like the only time people would ever contact you was to complain about things, because you were really just the complaints department.
Very true. And the margins probably weren't really worth it in the end. And you're constantly seeking out new products. That's why in our intake form, we ask, are you a drop shipper? Because we won't work with a drop shipper. Not that there's anything wrong, but we're interested in building a brand, long-term, building a business. But being a drop shipper, there's no real there's like a constant hamster wheel. It's a hustle. So hats off to you. It's a hustle.
All right. Now, I just want to, because we are batching and streaming and all the things, I just want to make sure one of my screens is looking as though that your video is a bit slower. So I just want to check. So this is what we call live streaming, guys. I want to check that your video is actually streaming clearly, or if it is a bit jaggedy. Can move for me. Does it appear to be all jaggedy for you, Kat? I've got my team in the background as well. Yeah, something weird's happening with your video. It looks really good here. So what I might do to make sure that we end up with a really good quality at the end, I'm going to just resize you. So this, we're using, for those that are just wondering what's going on right now, we use a couple of different apps. We use one app, yeah, that I think that's fixed it without the share screen. Yeah, that's definitely fixed it now. Well, the voiceovers will be great. The first part, this is we're using an app called Ecamm to make all the pretty graphics and everything we've got, and then restream. And then we're also in Zoom, so we've got lots and lots of like pieces of tech flying around. And we were trying to share screen to record, but I think that was bugging with yes, you look much smoother now.
Okay, good. You know, if anyone, it's like we see the tip of the iceberg. We don't see all the work going on beneath.
Oh, I know. I've got like buttons everywhere. And we recently lost our podcast manager and video editor. So we're like piecing things together right now on the fly.
Yep, I get it. That's how we roll. It'll come together.
As business owners, isn't it? It's like, well, hey, we're here. It's like, hi, problem. You've come to visit me today.
Yeah. Like, what are we gonna? Okay, new problem, new day.
I know. Well, you know, like I said, I'm so excited to learn more about what you are doing. So you told us that you would like to chat about surviving iOS. So, and how you can now retarget. I'm sure when all of this new iOS update started coming in, every time I install a new app, it says, do you want to track me? Like on everything right now. So I'm sure there was a huge learning curve, right, when it comes to that. So tell me, what have been some of the main struggles that you've seen business owners really encounter now with all of the new iOS updates with Apple?
Yeah, I think, and I really wanted to talk about it because it's so relevant and everyone's talking about it. It was like the apocalypse, you know, when it happened. And just to simplify it for those who might not understand, because it's very hard to wrap your head around, what happened is basically Apple had a software upgrade, and most users, at least in the US, are on Apple iPhones, which uses iOS software. And with that upgrade, Apple decided to put by default privacy settings in there for all the apps. Well, apps like Facebook and Instagram and many more, they count on the tracking to remarket to their audiences. That's kind of what that Facebook pixel is. It's a little tiny pixel that we use to track users' behaviors off of the app. Like we serve them an ad on Facebook, they go onto our website, and now because of the privacy settings, we can no longer track that. So some of the biggest pain points with that is several. One is, how am I going to find my audience and remarket to them? CPMs, meaning the cost per 1,000 impressions of these ads, have just skyrocketed. Not knowing where to go or what to do, or being just single channel focused, meaning you built your entire business on Facebook and you're like really struggling right now. And how do we move forward, you know, profitably? What do we do now? Because we can't track many things that are going on now outside of the apps with our marketing. So we've got to be really smart marketers at this point and figure out solutions. And the good news is I have them.
I know. Look, honestly, I used to run all my own Facebook ads, and I thought, you know, I do all right, and I was helping and teaching people. But like you said, it was like the apocalypse. And from spending thousands of dollars a day on ads to like literally turning them off because I couldn't work out what was going on. And I can imagine as a digital agency like that handles all of these things, like how much things would have changed for you. And so what's some of the strategies that you've sort of found to help really get around all of this retargeting stuff that's going on now?
Yeah. Sally, this, you know, kind of discussion with us couldn't have come at a better time, because this week we were supposed to release this blog post about all the iOS updates. It just got delayed a couple days. So the cool news is like what we talk about today, you can find on my website or on Instagram, I'll put it, but you'll like see this whole layout, which is really cool. So we have everything laid out. So just perfect alignment, right? Serendipitous. And a great question. So there's several things that we can do. The first is things that Facebook rolled out way in advance in preparation for this. So there are integrations if you are an e-commerce store, especially Shopify is a heavily used platform. There are integrations to upgrade your Facebook channel in there, and it's very simple to do. And you're going to go through all the prompts, and it's going to basically set up everything you need to kind of get through this iOS update. From there, Facebook is going to ask you to verify your domain. So if you have ads running and you have something called the Business Manager on Facebook, they're going to start prompting you to verify your domain. It's pretty simple to do. It has a little code. If you feel overwhelmed, I promise you can find someone on like Fiverr to do it very quickly and easily for you that does it day in and day out. If you have an agency partner, they can do it for you. And then from there, what you can do is you can start verifying certain events. Now, what happened is before the iOS update, we could choose unlimited events to optimize for. So we could choose leads, we could choose custom events, add to cart, view content, browse. I mean, it just went on and on. Pretty much whatever you wanted, you could do.
Literally, I know. It's like almost you could say, what color underwear are you wearing, right? And you could
set it. Optimize for red underwear. Yeah. So now what happened is now we have to make an important decision. The good news is most clients don't really need more than 8 events. Like unless you're just this gigantic platform, you're probably going to be okay. Especially in e-commerce, you're going to put your top priority event, and this is in your events manager in Facebook. If you run ads, you'll be somewhat familiar with this. And you're going to start picking out what events you want to optimize for. And those you'll go from highest priority to lowest priority. The highest priority for most e-commerce stores will be purchase. The highest priority for someone like you and your audience may be something like leads, if we're not getting a purchase within 7 days. And I'll explain that later, because we've had coaching clients and who have lead magnets and have a funnel and it goes on longer than 7 days, cannot track that. So your most important event will likely be leads. And then you can do things from there, like add payment info, initiate checkout, add to cart. You can put leads at the bottom if you're a e-commerce store, but you can choose only 8. It's a little more complicated when you're optimizing for value with a purchase, which is another option that will take up 4 of your events. So you will be only left with 4 more for a total of 5 events. So this can get a little bit tricky. So those are some things that have to go on like on the technical side and the back end of things. And then once you get that set up, there is a final setup that most people miss, which is actually setting up the conversion API. And it seems silly. And in fact, we thought that we had set it up correctly for all of our clients. And when we went through it, we realized, oh no, we forgot to tick a few of these things. So we had to go back. And the only way that you can go back and tick off this full conversions API, you can look into it. You have to be an admin on the business manager. So as an agency, we make sure to get at least one admin access, not agency admin access, but a person. So as a CEO of the agency, I'll go in and I'll make sure to be an admin in my client's business manager. And then I can do all the rest of the setup for them from there. That 99% of people, I guarantee, are missing setting that last piece up. So that's a big thing.
I don't even know how to do that. And I know that was the thing that I felt like I was just circling around and around trying to work it out. And that's why, we just outsource. Smart people outsource. So I can do what I do well.
Exactly. And so you want to tick off those 3 things: verify my domain, set up my events from highest priority to low priority, and finish setting up the conversion API. Those all happen on Facebook. The 4th thing, if you're an e-com, wherever you are, whatever platform you use, there's going to be some sort of integration on your own website. I guarantee that you're going to have to update in order to work with Facebook. For Shopify store owners, it'll be your Facebook channel. You need to go through and upgrade everything on there.
Wow. So when you're talking about the priority list and the 8, if somebody clicks "don't track me," what happens then?
Yes. Okay. So this was also the big thing where people were like, well, what happened? So this is an interesting fact. If people opt out, which by the way, about 85% or more are opting out, because it's by default out, and you have to actually manually more opt in more than anything. So you're losing everything. We've lost everything: demographics, age, even tracking on other websites. So think about interest-based audiences and how those used to work, and lookalike seed audiences. If Facebook found an interest audience, let's say for Petco, they were using so many different factors. Like, not only did they possibly like Petco on Facebook, but they also probably went to Petco's website, right? And they did those types of things. But now if 85% of Petco's traffic is not able to be tracked, forget your interest audience. Like, there's so much you've lost. So when people opt out, you can still get their information. And here's how you do it. There is something for the super techie advanced marketers. On the ad set level is where you set your conversions. Now, before this iOS update, there were options to change your attribution window. Attribution, I don't want to overwhelm people because I know this is a little bit of a technical conversation, but attribution in the simplest form is how long of a window do we attribute this ad to the sale, to the final conversion we're looking for. Yep. So if you were selling like a high priced item, high ticket offer, you have a longer funnel, you actually could extend it all the way out to 28-day click, which would make sense for some brands. For other brands, it did not make sense because most of your conversions are happening within the first day or 7 days, mostly like e-commerce, right? So with the iOS updates, we lost all of that too. We never used the 28-day attribution window as an agency because I feel that it is not ethical, to over-report your ROAS, your return on your ad spend. But so for us, it didn't matter. But what happened is now you get these two choices: 7 days or 1 day. And you win and you lose with some. You get 7-day click and 1-day view, or 1-day click and 1-day view. And you can do these in many different ways. If someone has opted out of the iOS tracking, you actually can still get their data back reported to you if they make the highest priority event conversion, meaning you're optimizing for purchase. If that's your highest priority, they do that by clicking the ad and doing it within a single day.
Okay.
So you can get that reported. However, you would have to set your attribution window on your ad set level to 1-day click or 1-day view to kind of see all that. And a lot of this is modeled now by Facebook. They've come out and said, this is modeled. So they've extended that modeling to a 7-day click too, for people who've opted out of tracking as well. But know that we triangulate the data as best we can. So we'll go back and look at the actual like Shopify dashboard, or if you're in WooCommerce or WordPress or your Kajabi, whatever you're kind of teaching in. Look at that dashboard, see what's going on, look in your Google Analytics. And then the other way you can track this, and this is the whole technical side, and then we'll get to the easier side, the more fun stuff. But the other way you can track this, in which we've always done in our agency, and we've always recommended people do, is use what's called UTM parameters, which is just this little tracking code that goes on the ad level. And you use it on every ad platform. And you should be using it everywhere, even in your email marketing. Everything you do, you'll want to add a UTM parameter. So you can take that back to Google Analytics and have better tracking based on your UTM parameter. So those are some ways in which we can kind of optimize tracking. Yeah. When you optimize for 1-day click, you'll lose what happens after 1 day. So just know if a lot of your conversions happen within the 2 to 7 day window, gone. Like, you're not going to get that data. So you're doing one trade-off for the other, where you'll get 85% of the people, if they happen to convert in a single day, which is very common for e-commerce.
I was just going to say, great for e-commerce, because, if somebody sees, a $5 item, or, they don't have to go and ask permission from partner to go and buy something that's, not very much money. In our industry, our clients are sometimes, thousands of dollars, and it takes, usually I say the work we do today affects our bank account in 3 to 6 months time, because there's a lot of more of a bigger decision and usually a discussion with the partner or something like that. So like, it's really changed, hasn't it? The way in which we can do things. I've heard a lot of people talking about moving over to the YouTube side of things because of everything that's happened with Facebook. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. And I was just to touch on what you had just mentioned. If I was running ads for a coach or a leader for like service-based businesses where it takes a long time for that conversion to happen, my best suggestion would be make your top priority event a lead and run ads for leads. And then you can track those. They usually happen in a day. It's the lead magnet. They opt in right then and there at that point. And then you can start tracking on the back end. You're usually converting over email or a phone call, whatever that looks like. You can also run ads, of course, for the conversion, but that will likely be a better gauge for you at this point in time of how well your marketing is doing in terms of like getting you new clientele into your funnel. So I just wanted to touch on that. And I love that you're talking about YouTube, because YouTube has been such an underutilized platform because it's very scary and much more difficult to create videos for marketing. That's why people don't want to do it. Like there's a lot of people who have the number one fear is like public speaking. So there's a lot of people who very much fear being on camera. And then the work that goes into creating a video, as we've seen you so elegantly do, gracefully do, is a lot of work. So I get it. But that being said, it's been known for a long time that video marketing is really where things are going. I believe that video marketing is also going to be very heavily present on e-commerce stores too, in terms of like product photography and the product 360-degree view and lifestyle. And so you got to get over that hump. And the cool thing is we live in a world where it's so easy to make a video, right? Don't worry about perfection. Just get it out there, content. And you'll slowly grow. And especially in, let's say, the coaching space, people just want to see what your personality is like. They want to know that you're an expert. They want to see how you teach. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be this highly edited video. And the cool thing is our belief as an agency is everyone should be omni-channel. You have to. Like, what if Facebook, this just happened? What if Facebook disappeared tomorrow and you lost, your whole audience was built on someone else's, I say your castle was built on someone else's foundation, right? That is shaky foundation. We want to not have all our eggs in one basket. So we like to get audiences from various areas. But the cool thing is if you're used to Facebook and Instagram, number one is that is not affected. Those videos that go on Facebook and Instagram have no effect from the iOS update, because the only thing that's affected by iOS updates are, one, Apple phone users and iOS users, and number two, off app behavior. Anything within the app is trackable. Your following, your videos, your messages, whatever that looks like is 100% retargetable, no problem. So if you're already making videos on Instagram or Facebook, you can so easily transition that content over to YouTube. And you can start running, if you want, ads on YouTube. So I would heavily advise everyone to kind of look into that. Distribute your content on various platforms.
Yeah, that is such great advice. And I like how you were just, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? I mean, we walk around with this thing in our hand all day, every day, and the quality of the camera is awesome. So why not just get out there and like do it, right? Like film yourself. I went live for 365 days straight once just to see what happened.
Amazing. Tell us what happened. Okay, tell us your what were your outcomes out of that? Like, what would be your final thoughts?
Well, my final thoughts were, first off, you don't always have to plan and prepare content. So some days, like one day I had a fight with my husband, and of course I like crying, and you don't share your dirty laundry online. So we had the fire burning outside in a little fire pot, and I like videoed that. Oh, who else likes to stare at the flames while they're dancing? Live, done, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And then I had 2,000 followers on my Facebook business page. And in 12 months, we grew from 2,000 to 70,000 followers just by going live every day.
That's amazing. That's such a great success story. And people, because I know why people also don't go live and why they don't do this too, is they fear content. They're like, what am I going to talk about? I mean, how many, like, raise your hand. It's not going to be perfect. I don't know what to talk about. We're all guilty of it, even me. And I preach about it all the time. People want to know who you are as a person too. Like you said, like you were out there, you were going to like someone wants to know you're human, like you're an actual human being. You have feelings. And that's when they start to get to know, like, and trust you as a coach or as a mentor, right?
Yeah, that's it. It is through sharing your ups and your downs more so than your products. That's what, like we were talking before we went live, how, your your Instagram is more like a little bit of a life story, not really like advertising business, but that's how people get to know you, how they get to find out about you, and then to decide whether or not, you are somebody that they want to hang out with, because people might start looking at the thing that it is you help people with, but most people stay because of who you are. You know, that's what keeps people coming back and back if they like you as a person, right? I think, but I love that you preach omni-channel marketing. I mean, who remembers Myspace, right?
Oh my gosh, MySpace, I know. I know, it's so true. I mean, when I was growing my business, we didn't have Facebook or Instagram or, you know, my e-commerce business. So it has never been easier to get distribution and get eyeballs on you. Never. And I love to encourage businesses too, because we're on the topic of videos, reels. I am someone who personally did not like reels. That was like, I'm like, nope, not for me. There were so many feelings I had about it. And one of my team members was like, Toccara, let me give you inspiration of like reels that are made classy. Like, you know, I was like, okay. So she gave me some inspiration of accounts that were amazing and super valuable in like the way that I wanted to do them. And so what happens is now, and we're telling our clients, do reels or TikToks, because the amount of free distribution you get is incredible. So let me give you an example. If you were to pay for, let's say, 1,000 impressions on Facebook, depending on what you're optimizing for, you would pay anywhere from, it totally depends, but let's say you pay anywhere from 10 to all the way up in actually the coaching space. We got coaching clients, we had to pay over $200 for 1,000 impressions. It's just insane. So it varies quite drastically, but let's just do $15 is probably about average, 20, 25 bucks. Well, for every 1,000 impressions you get on your reels, which are free, which many people are getting, I mean, brands are getting 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 on their reels, you would have to pay 20 bucks for every 1,000 of those. So you can do the math. Anyone who's listening to this right now on your reels, think in your head, okay, if I got 1,000 reels, that was worth $20 free to me. I just put 20 bucks into my pocket, right? And same with the videos, because the video views audiences are organic and they're retargetable. You don't have to pay for them. So keep producing content. You can do that too on YouTube. Your video views, they're retargetable. Your subscribers, they're retargetable. And you don't have to pay for any of this. This is like marketing and building a brand on a shoestring budget, right? Like this is how we roll.
I love that. It's the fact we can create this content. Yes, we've got those iOS update issues once they leave the app, but in the app, they're still trackable and retargetable. That is genius. I mean, I didn't even think of that because, well, I don't really run the ads like you. I mean, anyone who, like, you can tell Toccara knows her stuff. I mean, it's what you do all day, every day. You get me to automate things and look at really complex problems and simplify them in your systems, right? That's where I live. But the ads, right? Like you can see, you know, and when you talk about it, I can even see you're passionate about it, which is really shines through as well. It's awesome. You're amazing, lady.
Oh, thank you. Ditto, right back at you. Well, yeah, because, my team and I imagine, so our agency, we're like, what are we going to do? Like, there's like this looming apocalypse, like about to come and like gray skies and like lightning and maybe like a UFO going to like take us away. We're like, what are we going to do? We're running like big ad accounts, and so we had to personally learn everything about it that we could. And then we had to come up with every single hack that we could possibly use to make sure that our clients were protected. So I have a few more hacks if you want to know that are easy to use to survive the iOS.
Just gave me goosebumps all over. I love it. Yes.
Okay, good. Well, kind of like going back to the whole, like, let's be omni-channel, right? Which is always our approach. And I get why businesses don't do that, because Facebook ads are super, super sexy, and Instagram, and it's glamorous. And things like, getting Google Analytics in place or email marketing or SEO is just not as fun. Let's be real. Totally. But those are the things that are really going to drive you. So email marketing, especially in the coaching industry, but even in our e-commerce industry, most of our clients drive 30% to about 55% of their revenue just from email marketing. Email marketing has anywhere from 40x return on investment all the way up to about 70x return on investment. We're a Klaviyo partner, so we meet with their team. And so they'll tell us, on average, you're getting like 60x return on investment for your clients. When was the last time you ran a Facebook ad and got like 60x return, right? It doesn't happen. And the thing is, it's like practically free. Like these email marketing platforms, they're so inexpensive, and it's like you're
so
yes.
inexpensive. Oh my God, you're preaching to the choir right now, because that's what I live in. I live in Keep and Kajabi are my main things, and all about automation and email marketing. And then people go, I like to get into Keep, it's like $99 a month. And they're like, oh, but that's too expensive. And I'm like, really?
Yes,
That's like less than an hour's work a month to pay for this software. And here you are trying to, use MailChimp and all of the platforms that don't give you the automation and the power and the tools to save money. You're literally losing money because
exactly.
It's so powerful.
You're so right. I know we are very passionate about this topic,
I know.
But that's like, would we rather, there's no such thing, especially in the coaching industry. And study after study shows that people need multiple touch points with you and your brand in order to convert. How are you going to do that without an email, system in place and funnel and process? So the reason why I bring up email, not only because it's another platform to be utilizing and it's very affordable, has very high return, but we can import those email addresses and match them back to Facebook. Mm-hmm. And that is extremely valuable because that is off. That has nothing to do with the iOS update. So what I love about Klaviyo is it has dynamically updated custom Facebook audience integration. Imagine that. So every day when we get someone who abandons our site or views our content or opens an email and doesn't purchase, whatever they do, that's a custom audience I pulled into Facebook. So if their email that they're using with our website is the same email they're using with Facebook, it's a match where they opted out of tracking from the pixel, which is a different type of tracking. Doesn't matter. I got their email. And then beyond that, the next part of this conversation is SMS. Now, SMS is, kind of like up and coming. Never has it been more important to build your email list and your SMS list. And I know SMS feels very scary to many people because it's a very intimate way to talk to someone and connect to them. But it's also like the ultimate permission-based marketing. If someone lets you into their, slide into their messages, you're in, and so, and they can control it. They can click stop and all that. So you want to be very careful about the messaging you're doing and how often and when you do that. But things or platforms, apps, let's say like TikTok, they don't collect emails. They collect phone numbers. Yeah. So we want to, that is another touch point, another data point that we can feed back to Facebook to try to match, or TikTok to match that consumer to remarket to them. Because I don't know about you, I always ask this on podcasts, Sally, I'm so curious, because I joined Facebook in 2009. Do you know when you joined Facebook?
I don't. It's definitely in the O something. Yeah.
Oh, something. Yeah. Okay. The O something. I love it. And I'm just so curious, are you still using the same email address that you signed up for, like on Facebook? Is that still your primary email address?
Yes.
Or do you actually
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. So I personally use my email address that I signed up with Facebook with years ago. I never look at that inbox ever anymore. It's like totally
neither
different.
Do I. No.
Yeah. So
it's my spam account now, or I call it my funnel hacking account because I love to go through people's funnels.
So smart. You are a sister of my heart. So smart. So what happens is people often will change their emails. And by the way, iOS 15, this whole email thing, it's a whole other level. You won't even get opened emails tracked anymore. You also on iPhone devices, you also might get these almost like throwaway emails, like they're not your real email. It's like a one-off email that when someone unsubscribes, it deletes the email altogether. So things are coming for us, but that's not happened to phone numbers yet. So if someone's email address that they match to Facebook isn't the same email address that they use on your website for your lead magnet, well, then Facebook won't be able to match that, right? But phone numbers rarely change. They rarely ever change. And Facebook has access to a lot of phone numbers, apps like TikTok and so many more. So it's just another data point we can use to match back outside of the limitations of iOS or the Pixel.
Yeah, so, and they're doing like double opt-ins. You've got to go and they text you now. And we have a few funnels running and we make it optional, but we ask if they're adults, they don't have to put their phone number in, and we don't make it mandatory to put their phone number in the funnel, but it's there. And if they do, then we've got that option to be able to reach out. And we've got setters that work on our team as well. So the setters can call them and see, what sort of decision process they're in right now. If they need help, it gives us that other touch point, a more personal connection as well. And when you hear somebody's voice, like, it's hard to forget them. There are some companies, like even the school that I went through for my life coaching certification, I ended up choosing them because they would phone me every so often to see how I was going. And then one day I decided, yes, I want to do that certification. And because I remembered all the phone calls, they were like one of the first companies I looked at, and then chose to go through them. So yeah, that phone number is such a personal piece of way to get into somebody's life, right?
I totally agree.
But they do have total control. It's like the emails. People are like, oh, you don't want to be a spammer. I'm like, well, you've got to send emails. But there's actually a human on the other end of that email, and they're an adult. And there's like a little subscribe button at the unsubscribe button at the bottom. There's nothing stopping them from clicking that. So, still send your content out. If people don't want it, they're adults. Let them decide. Don't you decide for them.
I know. And a lot of the smaller companies that we talk to, 95% of them aren't sending enough emails because they're worried that they're going to be spammed, that they're going to be considered spam. Or I'm like, you're not, it's okay. Like, as long as you're adding valuable content, it's okay, but don't be Miss Spammy Pants. Yes, like, don't just say spend money, spend money, spend money. Value, 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 and then
give, and then occasionally ask, right? But when you're doing the right thing and you're providing value, then that's all you can do, right? And at the end of the day, we don't control their credit cards. So
yeah, they do. And you had like such a great tip for coaches. One of the best things you can do if, let's say, you're a lead magnet or you have a webinar, on a landing page, is right then and there. Usually people are they're opting in because they have this high pain point. They're like, solve it yesterday. And so what you can do, right then and there is put on that landing page, book a call with our team to, maybe we can give you a free strategy session. If that's feasible for you, I would highly recommend it because your conversion rate will drastically skyrocket and you'll get the email or the phone number, right? So,
right. Oh, darling, you talk my language. Like, that is it. Yeah. And in the coaching realm, that's what it is. Like, so many people talk, they want to go evergreen fast or sell a mini course fast, which is great. We want that. But the fastest path to profit is actually having a human-to-human conversation with somebody. You can try and sell that high-ticket service, and if they're not ready for it, you can then downsell them rather than that slow climb up. I mean, especially if you're not yet, at that sort of $10,000 a month mark, you want to get a couple of people saying yes to that higher ticket one-on-one service that you've got. And I personally, I wouldn't spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a coach if I didn't have a conversation first.
Of course. Yes, of course. We've had coaching clients who have, several $1,000, memberships. And that was what it was. It's like, you have to get on the call with them. Yes, you have to get on the call at that price point. Would you spend that much money with someone if they weren't, face to face having a conversation with you?
Look, Miriam's watching us at the moment. She goes, oh my God, I so agree. Human to human, right? It's like you've got B2B marketing, you've got B2C marketing, and you've got H to H marketing. You want to talk to people. I see, like, the top end of your funnel, that we try to automate that as much as possible to then find those little golden people in there that are really keen to know about what it is we do, and then talk to people.
Right? Yeah, literally. Yeah. We always try to do that too. So sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to be the face of my brand if, let's say, you're not a coach. And it's like, okay, how can we pull in faces to your brand? And if you don't, can we have a brand advocate or someone to speak up for the brand? Or let's use your team as the brand, as the face of the brand. Or let's use your customers or UGC as the face of the brand. Have you ever heard of Mark Schafer?
I've heard of the name. I know there's a reference coming.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he teaches at an Ivy League school, and he's done a lot of talks and books about in essence, the most human brand wins. And it's so true. And he's an excellent speaker and he has a great book about it. But in essence, it's like consumers are just begging for transparent, human, kind brands that are doing good things. And they
Miriam
want to
just said heart to heart. I love that. Heart to heart.
I love it. Heart to heart. Exactly. So it's like, because we talk about these in marketing terms, we're like, oh, leads, purchases. It's not, no, there was actually a human behind that who actually used their hard-earned money on your product or service. And we forget there's always pain with giving up money, even though it's kind of weird, but there's a lot of scarcity and there's a lot of like, almost like I'm giving away my hard-earned money. So there's always going to be, people saying, am I doing the right thing? Thinking they made a bad choice. And so it's like our job to first, offer gratitude and appreciate them and treat them like a human instead of a number, right?
I know. That's like where people are talking about email addresses. I don't just see it as a string of letters. That's a human. Every email address is a living, breathing human. And that's why it's so important to nurture those people until, they've just keep giving them resources, letting them learn till that they are informed enough to make a decision if you're the right fit for them. But there is a beautiful human breathing heart on the other end of that long string of numbers or, letters. I'm having so much fun. This is like turned into a coffee conversation, right? I feel like I need to be bringing out the coffee. For you, it's probably getting a little later in the evening, maybe a wine.
Yeah, maybe, I know, right? A little cocktail, yes.
Having so much fun. Now we've got some live viewers joining us as well, and as you could see, Miriam has dropped a few things, but if anyone would like to ask any questions, please feel free to type them if you're on the live stream right now, and we can definitely ask Toccara if she has any answers for you as well. But also, look, we've gone into a lot of this iOS, but we also always have these sparkle questions we like to ask our guests as well that are a little bit outside the topic that we've covered. So I'd love to move into the sparkle part of the interview now. So my first question is for you. What is some of the best resources that's actually helped you along the way with your journey as a business entrepreneur?
Yeah, I also love hearing this feedback from others. I'm just a passionate podcast listener and reader. Yes. So some of the books that, kind of changed my life, and I always screw up this book name, but it's by Bob Doyle, Follow Your Passion, Find Your Purpose, something along those lines. He was part of The Secret, and this book is all about pretty much like manifesting what you want in your life. Literally changed my life like night and day. And there's a few others. The Chicken Soup for the Soul writer, Jack Campbell, has a book called Success Principles. And what I love about it is it's these little stories like chicken soup. So they're very consumable, digestible, about success principles. It talks about a lot of athletes and how they made it to success, a lot of visualization, manifestation, those types of things, the law of attraction. Those resources have really helped me. And I believe that we're always learners. I know enough to know I don't know everything, and I always want to be learning. So I digest so many marketing podcasts, like any marketing podcast I can get my hands on. I will digest. So you got Amy Porterfield on, I'm a fan of hers. Rick Mulready was one of the first ones that got me into Facebook marketing and ads.
He was the reason why I started getting in and playing in Facebook ads myself, years and years ago before all of the changes. But yes, totally love Rick Mulready as well.
Oh, I love him. And e-commerce influence, digital marketer, social media examiner. Like there's so many. Molly Pittman and Ezra Firestone, smart marketer now. There's so many of them that the cool thing about podcasts is, you can just kind of type your keyword in. If you're having a hard time with iOS, you could type in like iOS Facebook ads and find these certain podcasts and start to fall in love with these podcasters who might have some really great advice for you. So I'm always listening to podcasts on my runs, gym, drives. Yeah.
Yeah, the same. It's like my nighttime listening. As soon as my husband starts snoring, in go the AirPods, and on goes a podcast.
I love that. He's seeing this. He won't see this, right?
Oh, no, he doesn't watch my stuff. He hears me talk enough. So. My
Perfect.
husband's on television here in Australia, and we don't even watch him on TV.
Oh, that is so funny. That is so funny. Okay, well, I won't tell him you said anything.
That's like he pretty much knows like literally everything anyway. So all right, my next question for you is: what's one common myth you would like to debunk about your field?
Yeah. Well, this one's going to sound harsh, and I'm just going to say it. But I think there's a lot of people who think that Facebook ads are really easy to run and you can take a course and you're good to go. But honestly, to be a really good marketer, it takes years and years of massive experience in data analytics and understanding how to build a business. And there's no such thing as just one marketing platform. If you really want to grow a business, you have to have your hands in so many things, and you have to have so much experience and so many accounts under your belt of failures so you can learn from them, and successes. And so I think what I would love people to know, especially small business owners, is just because let's say an agency or freelancer is cheap, right? You could also lose all your money very quickly. And so the myth is, yes, that this, yes. So just know that if someone says they're a Facebook marketer or an advertiser or an expert, I mean, I've seen people who are on stages, I've dealt with the largest brands in the world, and I've seen the chaos behind the scenes in their ad accounts. Just know that, like, I really want you to interview them very harshly in a nice way, but make sure you're asking all the right questions. Show me the accounts. Yeah. How much experience? What software are you investing in? Make sure that they're asking you important questions, because the myth is, oh, I can just hire someone for cheap and of course I'll make money. But no, it doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like in the early days, I started, playing around because I wanted to learn, but it got to that point where I'm like, honestly, I'm not passionate about it. Not like you, like you're like I love numbers and metrics, and I do love looking through people's funnels and finding the little holes. And we don't typically deal with the lead gen stuff, which is what you do. Once people have found their traffic sources, we automate the process once somebody hits their landing page and all of the back end. So, we're sort of that next step after you've helped them with the traffic source. But the fact that they make me so frustrated, the people that run ads, and it's like, $5 a day, and I'm like, I just want to strangle them and say, stop lying to people, because it's like this shiny ball that promises a silver bullet to turn all of the struggles of running a business into something that's easy, and it's just not. Running a business is not easy. If it was, everybody would do it. And it's the marketers that promise this silver bullet. They really frustrate me, that rather than telling them the truth that, yes, we can turn on your ads, for example, but it's going to take time to measure the metrics and look at the data and build it and measure and then optimize it. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. And
yes, it
frustrates me.
I understand. It's the myth of Facebook ads is the magic pill to my success. No, you are the magic pill to your success. You need to have a product market fit, a really great following, a website, that converts. We can help you with those things, but you are actually the magic pill. And then we just take that and we leverage it and we skyrocket it for you, because we can do that on the back end. But that myth of, oh, I just need Facebook ads. And this person at, this price is
the boost button. You'll be fine. Just hit that boost button. And I'm like, Facebook are rubbing their hands behind the scenes going, oh, I love that blue boost button. Thank you for the money.
Oh, thank you. Lighting my money on fire. Yeah. I just want to see like a tree with leaves of like dollar bills and like just lighting it on fire, because it's a low. So I think the myth is that I always say, we don't go into the cockpit of a 747 jet and think we can fly that plane without having years of flying, courses and education under our belt. So what makes us think that we can go into the Facebook ads dashboard with no education, no prior experience, and have it not completely crash? Yeah. It's really the same thing. It's like this misconception of, it's easy to make money with Facebook ads. You don't need to know anything. No, you kind of have to know.
Look, I can tell you, and you were saying about finding somebody cheap. I mean, they weren't cheap, but they would be compared to what I pay now for the people that help us run and manage our ads. They were fairly cheap. The difference between somebody who's charging even a couple of $1,000s a month to run your ads to a few $1,000s a month to run your ads, it's day and night. The metrics, the data, the testing they do for us, like daily updates if we're running and starting a new campaign, like they're in the hole with us. And that's why, but then our return on investment is so much better because we're investing in somebody's skill set. It's like when you walk into a doctor and you pay them $100 to sit down for 15 minutes, you're not paying for the 15 minutes. You're paying for their lifetime of experience. And that's when you're hiring marketing strategists like yourself, that's what you're paying for. All of those years of experience and the fact you're managing so many other accounts, you get to see things that other people don't because you've got all of these other accounts that you can run comparisons against as well.
Exactly.
Love that. What a great one. All right. Actually, we've got one question that's just come in here. Some organic growth ideas.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this. Pretty much so. And then just a little disclaimer about you have to spend a lot of money with an agency. That's certainly not true. There are some of the biggest agencies in the world that will take all of your money. I've seen it all and run. So it's not necessarily about like the money you spend. There's some amazing advertisers that don't charge very much. So it's not about that. It's more like go with the expert, go with the true expert who really cares about you and your brand and ask the right questions and is going to be there to support you and look very closely at their results and what they're doing, the actual person running that. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Sorry. I want to actually take a step back on what I said and how I worded it too, because I do agree because some people are up and comers or are very, very good and they don't charge what they probably should charge as well. So there are some extremely fabulous experts out there. But back to also what you said about making sure you're looking at what their software they're using. You're looking at what customers and the outcomes that they're getting for their current people, and don't just take their word for it.
Get references. Ask them, can I call them? We have a client, a very an influencer client with, again, one of the biggest ad agencies in the world. That particular client's results are on their portfolio, published on their website. Well, they totally took advantage of that client, pocketed all the money, and yet they're still using that person on their portfolio. So you cannot trust anything. I'm just saying this because we all know, we've all been there. So what I would say, if you really have someone that you can trust, you could say, could I please contact a couple of your clients? I'd love to talk to them. When you're talking about investing that kind of money, an agency that's really comfortable and has really great client relationships should have no problem being like, here's a couple numbers, So these are the things that we're looking for, and
that's such great advice. And we do it all the time when people are looking to come to us because we're not a cheap agency either. We give them a list of people. We actually let them into our paid community group where all of our customers sit and we say, just reach out to any of them. Right? Because that shows that people, they can just literally go into our groups and contact anyone in that group because they've paid for us. That's why they're in there. Go and do your due diligence. You're an adult.
Yes, I totally agree. So you will save yourself such heartache if you first start interviewing and seeing real customers and seeing what their experience is like. So
I've learned by just taking people's word for it because they're very good salespeople and they tell you all the things you want to know. And so you say yes, because I'm a bit of a jumper, I have to say. When I make a decision, I make it fairly quickly and sometimes at my own detriment.
Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. Trust me, we've all been there. Come on. Right. We've all been. It's okay. It's nothing wrong. We've all lived and learned, but these are also lessons I've learned over the years. And most of our clients come to us after having a very bad experience.
Yeah. Look, I've been tracking and stalking you secretly in the background for a while now, and I can see the types of results and things that you get. So, and you've been around for a long time, so you can see you're not just somebody who's just come in and gone. Like for years, I've been kind of stalking you in the background. So.
Oh, I love it. I'm so grateful we're connected today. Thank you so much. And I know that someone had those questions about organic strategies, which
yes,
I'd love to
Miriam.
talk about. I love it because in full transparency, again, I really believe in like bringing integrity back to this industry. That's kind of like my stance. And so when we get on discovery calls, actually, most of the time we get them through a lengthy, process. So we don't, if they're not qualified, hopefully they won't book and we can do something else with them. But that's people that also do get through, and 70% of them we actually decline. And it's not because we don't care. It's actually because we care. We're like, we think you can do so much organically for free. Let me give you all these ideas. So I love this question because I think one of the best things you can do for free is, first of all, content. Just like you said, Sally, you went on 365 days in a row live. You grew from 2,000 to 70,000 followers. And that alone, getting your content out there and sharing your value and not worrying about if someone else is going to steal your value or someone's not going to invest in you because you're giving away all your secrets, it simply isn't true. And so I would say number one is content. The other things that are very organic and easy to do is things like email marketing, very inexpensive, SMS marketing. And these two are kind of interesting. People don't think about, but SEO, which is a big deal. And that's a whole like rabbit hole we could go down, but the basics of SEO you can do for free. Let's say your slugs, your URLs on your website, the content on your website, the H1 tags, the blogs that you're writing, are they SEO? Like, are they based on keyword research? And are you driving organic traffic? These are free. This is, again, goes back to content, right? And then distribution backlinks. Can you get yourself as listed on someone else's larger platform? So these are things you can do for free. Some other things that I like to suggest, which actually the number one thing you can do to get the highest increase in revenue, which no one even really knows about, is CRO, conversion rate optimization. Sounds super techie and super boring, but I have, and I don't have the exact calculations here, but in essence, if you can increase your website conversion rate, or let's say your webinar show up rate or your lead conversion rate, how many people are opting in, right? Whatever that looks like, whatever conversion rate that is for you, it's like 0.25%, going from like 1.5% to 1.75%. For some brands, that can be the difference between 100,000 a year and 150,000 a year. For free. All we did is maximize our conversions. We built a better landing page. We split test. We had better offers. We set up our website to convert. We tested the user experience. Those are free things that we can do. So conversion rate optimization is so powerful. The opt-ins, like pop-ups on your website, timed kind of offers, right? Scarcity is a big one. So if anyone's listening and hasn't dived into conversion rate optimization, Google it. Google it and find all the ways in which you can optimize.
Sexy numbers. I love it. Look, this is my best friend over here, the calculator, right? It is, I love looking at the sexy numbers because I don't know that exact number like what you said, but that tiny little change in conversion, it's like so many people I see will build a funnel, like a freebie, a landing page and an opt-in. They put it out there and they go, oh, it's not working. But you haven't looked at the data. You haven't looked at how fast is your page loading? How far down the page are they going? Where are they clicking? There are so many little things you can do. And I get obsessed with the numbers. Like I dream about tags, squiggly lines and numbers. That's kind of my world.
I love it. Well, it's true. It's like, so when someone's saying, I always say to people, the only difference between driving 1,000 paid website visitors to your website and 2,000 paid website visitors to your website when you have no conversions is you just paid for an extra 1,000 people to not convert. So you have to make sure you're converting. And the best way you can increase your numbers is increase your website conversion rate, or increase your lead gen conversion rate, or increase your webinar show up rate, or increase your book a discovery call, whatever that looks like. Number one way you will drive revenue for free. And then the last one I want to mention is partnerships with other brands and co-partnering and other people. They can, we have a fun example where one of our clients ended up growing. They were at 500 followers on Instagram, and they were, I think, at less than 5,000 emails. We did a joint promotion with a bigger brand. In 10 days, they grew their Instagram to 12,000 followers. They grew their email list to 29,000 emails. They only spent $500 on that entire campaign. And their cost per new customer acquisition went down from $45 all the way down to about $5. So massive results. That was just from them having friends, like, just being well networked. So if you can well network with brands that are bigger than you, don't be shy to kind of ask, what's your email list size? Make sure their followers are real and not bots. That's another thing. You don't want bots these days, because if we have to retarget our Facebook audiences and our Instagram audiences, we're going to waste money on bots. Don't do it. Don't get bots. You're going to throw away your money. So these are the things that you can do just for free, that any of these things can help grow your business.
Yeah, I love the partnership one. I always say, find people that are in a similar niche as you, somebody that you can collaborate with. So it's somebody who isn't selling exactly the same thing as you, but you complement each other. So, for example, I can do copywriting. I don't enjoy it. I don't wake up in the morning and go, yes, I get to write emails today. But if you say, get up in the morning and I've got to organize like automation and tags and squiggly lines and segmenting, yay, I can do that. So align myself with a copywriter. And then, copywriters who don't like to automate and segment lists. And, so if you find those complementary people in the health industry, there are so many collaborations out there for you. If you're in health and wellness, just look for somebody else in a health and wellness field that people will also need help with. Run your own race in your own lane and align yourself with people who have a similar audience to you, and then help each other. We do joint ventures all the time. Like, we're working with Amy Porterfield. And, yes, we help people create courses inside of our program, but she's the goddess of course creation. So why not allow her to teach people how to create courses? And then once the course is built, they're going to need to automate the experience. That's when they can come to me. Also, Shalene Johnson is another person I work with. I teach for her. And so what happens is, if people are not yet quite sure of their ICA and they're trying to still figure that stuff out, I just send them to Shalene. And then once they've figured it out, they come back to me. And it's a great way, like inside of her Marketing Impact Academy, I teach in there for her as well. So it's a win-win situation, right? It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw you smile and nod. You like Shalene.
Yeah, it's just like the law of attraction. It really is. Like, when you're there to serve and help others, it always comes back to you. So when your focus is, I genuinely want to help, and I want to, introduce this person to you, help you network, help you grow. That art of the law, it's psychology, it's sales psychology, the law of retribution, or am I saying that right? Retribution. No, why am I forgetting that word? When someone does something for you, you do something for them.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's one of my favorite books, by the way. Robert Cialdini.
I'm trying to think of the word as well.
Yeah, the influence. Yeah, reciprocity. Reciprocity. What am I thinking of? Reciprocity. So in one of the best books I've ever read is Robert Cialdini's The Art of Influence, Sales Psychology. And he goes over like the 6 psychology principles, easy to digest. Tons of really cool studies in that book. Have you read it?
Yes, love it. Love it.
It's such a good book. And it's very much the art of reciprocity. So when you do things for people, it's just a natural human behavior for them to want to do something for you.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the giftology is another one as well that I really like. It's like, and showing that you really care about people, and it's not about you getting people or stealing other people's people. And also the thing you were saying as well is, when you're giving out your content and you're scared that if you give away too much, people won't buy, you could literally give somebody the entire game plan to a room of 100 people, and you'd be lucky if one person actually took that and took action with it.
Yes.
The reason why they pay us to do what it is we do is because they want the shortcut. They don't want to have to figure it out themselves, and know that everything that I teach is out there somewhere for free. You've just got to want to spend the time to try and put it together in the right order.
Exactly. And exactly. I agree. I help this mastermind, this business accelerator for these Hawaii growing businesses. And one of the business owners came up with the cohort and said, I'm really nervous to put my work out there. I really want to do a course on artwork. She does artwork. And I really want to do it, but I'm really nervous someone's going to steal my designs. And I'm like, sweetheart, no, like they're not you. They're not you. Like people love you for who you are. And let's say someone did, which by the way, we've worked with coaches. I have a coach, a dear coach friend in Australia. And her entire course got stolen from her. Guess what? They're not investing in the course. That's one thing, but they're investing in her as a mentor. And what I say to people who are worried about someone else taking your stuff or what, I can't do it because someone else was already doing it. There are so many mindset coaches, life coaches, business coaches, physical therapists, doctors. So the list was Facebook ad, agencies. So the point is like, it doesn't matter if someone else is doing it. It doesn't even matter if someone steals it. They're choosing it because it's you, which goes back to the human to human, right? And what you have to bring to the table. So couldn't agree more.
Oh, that's it. We've all got competition. If we didn't have a competition, then it probably means that niche is not worth pursuing.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, I never think of it because I feel like even that scarcity, it's like I have colleagues. Like there's great colleagues in my space. There's other agencies. I'd love to talk to them. I'd love to learn. I'd love to support them. In fact, I could use a couple other agencies that I could refer out to. I'm always telling people that when those people that we say, hey, you might not be ready for us, I would love to then say, but here's a trusted referral that I know you'll be in good hands with. I just don't have one.
Yeah, same. We don't accept everybody.
Listening.
Yeah, so there's a little prompt to anyone out there who's an agency thinking they'd love to align with Toccara. Definitely. Awesome. Well, our last one is always a sentence I like to get people to complete. It is, I'm Toccara and I sparkle because. Please complete the sentence.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I am Toccara and I sparkle because I focus on joy and gratitude every single day.
Oh, you will actually make one of my good friends really happy because she loves to preach gratitude. She's written a book on it, and gratitude is so important. And I can tell you're a manifester just like myself, still taking action and doing the work. But I remember years ago, I put like Amy Porterfield on my vision board and I got to interview her this week. Right?
I just can't believe, I know. I was like, since when am I in the company of Amy Porterfield? It's amazing. Like that's such an accomplishment. I'm such a believer in actually what I do too, which is fun. I don't know if you do this, but this is kind of a fun one for anyone listening too. I set my passwords to goals and manifestations. So I'll set them to like financial goals. I'll set them to like what I want, like love or joy or peace or calm or ease or whatever, and every single password and what I want to do, like certain stages I want to speak on or people I want to meet. So I'm a super believer in that. And I believe in updating those passwords and vision boards with when you hit it, update that, like keep growing,
Love that. I've never thought about it. Now I will.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I have a funny story too. Our operations manager was trying to reset our password and we do it for financial goals on some of them. She's like, it will not take this password. Like it wouldn't take it for her. She's like, I can't get it to take it. And I was like, well, upgrade the revenue. So she does, I'm like, clearly the universe is saying we're meant to make more. This year, like couldn't get more of a humble sign from the universe, then you're going too low. So we upgraded that bad boy, the password, and we far surpassed it. So I believe in it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Anybody out there who is now going to be setting their goals and, all of their dreams and visions in their passwords, what a cool way to go about it. Now, Toccara, before you go, if people want to find out more information about you, now we're totally going to pop all of this in the show notes, but please where do you hang out the most? Where can people find info about you?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I am Toccara Karizma, which is very hard to spell. everywhere. So that's Toccara Karizma. And that is, I swear, my real name, my born name. I'm that everywhere. So Karizma on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then the website as well. And our agency is Karizma Marketing, spelled that same way with a Karizma. And we really focus on e-commerce and email marketing very heavily, and some other digital marketing services in there. And I'd love to help anyone who's looking for assistance in growing their e-commerce brand.
Yay. Thank you so much. This has been so enjoyable. We've just gone on and on. I feel like, we've been friends for years and not just in the DMs. And you speak my language, numbers and metrics, and you truly are an inspiration to all female business owners out there who, sheer grit and determination. You just kept on going, and you've built yourself such an amazing business with staff and a really heart-centered entrepreneur as well, I have to say. So thank you so much for spending some time with me in Straight Talk with Sally.
Thank you, Sally. We'll have to do a Toccara and Sally 2.0 where I get to interview you.
Definitely. You sent me a list of topics we could talk about, and I'm like, I don't know what to choose. But then I'll go back to the list and we'll totally get you back on again. I would love that.
Fun, super fun. It was such a joy.
Excellent, guys. Well, thank you everybody who joined us today. If you would like to be in the audience as well, we do have the opportunity for people to come and join us in the VIP room of the live broadcast as well. You can head to sparkleclubhouse.com to get on in. It's less than a cup of coffee a week or less than $1 a day. And we give you loads of other tips, not just VIP access to our podcast batching day. So if that's something you're interested in, then head to sparkleclubhouse.com. But again, thank you so much. We still have another guest coming up real soon for today's live streaming. So you can keep an eye. We'll be streaming again real soon. And my little button's not working on my... Now where's all my buttons gone? Who's got the buttons? Button. Who's got the button? Oh, I don't know. It's all disappeared and things are just going all over the place. My Stream Deck's decided it doesn't want to play with me anymore, so there we go, back to Toccara. That one will do nicely. All right, guys, as always, never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done each and every day, and keep an eye out. We'll be back really soon with stuff about smart marketing using AI. So catch us real soon. Keep an eye on the channel.